Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Just Open It, the YouTube series in which I open recently acquired toys. My name is Russ. Thank you very much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you're a fellow toy collector or a fan of pop culture in general, please subscribe to my channel, Karaoke Fanboy TV. I will soon be celebrating the 100th episode of this series, Just Open It. And to celebrate that, I am going to raffle off this Hasbro Spider-Man action figure in the style of the classic 90s Spider-Man animated series. These figures started coming out in 2022. I see here from the back of this package. And I picked this guy up then in anticipation of the whole series because I had a lot of these figures when I was a kid, but I kind of stopped with this figure. I didn't continue buying any of them. I haven't opened this guy. There may be a little ding here at the top of the bubble, but otherwise the package is in pretty good shape. So I just figured, you know what, because this guy's not on the pegs anymore, I'm going to raffle him off, and maybe you missed him or wanted him or would want him. So to win that raffle in my 100th episode when I announce the winner, all you have to do is between now and then, whenever I post that video, like, comment, or subscribe. That's it. I'm going to keep a tally of everybody that does so between now and then. Put your names in a hat, draw a winner, and reach out to you here on YouTube. So I hope that's legal. I hope that's okay. But it's definitely the best way I could think of when it comes to expressing my appreciation to you guys that watch regularly. Thank you very much. This whole series began in an effort to open the toys that I have laying around here in my living room. The ones that I buy frequently, Masters of the Universe Origins, McFarlane Toys Superpowers, and a few other series. I just had them in their packaging stacking up here. And to motivate me to open these toys, I thought I'd do a YouTube series called, appropriately, Just Open It. So here we are nearing episode 100, and I know I've opened a little bit more. I've opened more than 100 toys by the time I get to that episode anyway, because a few videos feature 2 figures. I did some shorts and stuff like that. But who's keeping track? The fact that there will be 100 full-length episodes of this series is pretty mind-blowing. So again, if you've watched with any kind of consistency, thank you so much. It's just fun for me. The only motivation is enjoying these toys. Today I am opening the latest Mattel Creations release, a Masters of the Universe Origins figure, Demo Man. Now, I didn't have Demo Man when I was a kid collecting the original Masters of the Universe figures because he didn't come out. In fact, Demo Man predates those figures as a design concept by artist Mark Taylor, one of the creators, if not the creator, of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. So Mattel has taken this design, turned it into plastic, and they may have done that with the Masters of the Universe Classics line as well, but this is Origins, and I'm super excited to have this figure in my collection, finally, because I did not go whole hog into Classics, ironically because they were mail order. Now that's what Origins has become, but they hooked me at retail, so I'm staying on board, at least until they finish the original slate of characters that I collected in that first vintage run of Masters of the Universe. And we still have some to go. Rio Blast has been announced, I know that. There are several others still to join the original ranks, so to speak. But I'm getting into this box today, and I noticed this tape was kind of loose, so I am right into it here. And let's see what this guy is like. Demo Man, which is a variation of the potential name D-Man, right? He-Man's known for those pun names. And just the packaging here is super simple, which I really appreciate. The box is slender, fitting for this figure. And so I like the economy of this. But yeah, I think Skeletor's original name, potential name, was going to be D-Man. And so there's been some debate as to whether or not this Demo Man was going to be Skeletor, or was this a Skeletor design? Was Skeletor a totally separate character? And Demo Man has kind of come kind of retroactively. That's what we've named him, as a derivation of D-Man, but still very fun. And he's a demo. You know, the drawing was a demo for the Masters line. So there's a lot of pun action going on here. But Evil Spirit of Despondos. So even in the description, you're getting into the mythology here. Some alternate heads, including this Alfredo Alcada style. Alfredo Alcada is the artist that drew the first 4 and some other He-Man mini comics that came with those original characters, those original action figures. So that head is evocative of his design. And then this head here with a more medieval bent to it. But I'm excited about this. Let's get into this guy and see what he's all about. I like how this just kind of slides out, so you're not ripping the bubble off. This beautiful art on the back, evocative and indicative of what Masters of the Universe Origins is all about. Totally cool. One of the reasons for this series, like I mentioned at the beginning, is opening the packaging and getting rid of it. But when you do these mail order things and you pay a couple extra bucks, what with shipping and everything, I almost feel like, is it worth it to keep this? Because, like, this is in pretty pristine shape. But I could look at that art anytime online. So it's a real conundrum. Do I want to store this, maybe bag and board it as I would a comic book, because it's exclusive to this figure who is not at retail? Or do I just want to say, screw it, I don't need to store all this stuff, it's just kindling at the end of the day, you know, let me get rid of it. But I don't know, I'll debate that. What we have here is, it looks like, is a full-fledged mini comic, which is cool. Some of these mail order figures have simply come with like kind of mini comic sized cards, so this is exciting to see. And I look forward to reading this later tonight. So I'm not going to spoil that, but there it is. Let's get into the guy himself here. Removing him from the package, super easy. Some weapons. Let me look at this guy. Oh, there are some plastic straps holding him in, of course. No idea why. It's so difficult to extract these figures nowadays. But let's be honest, they're for adult collectors. I mean, my original contention with that was, what if I'm a kid that gets this toy and just wants to rip them out of the package and get to playing? But sadly, I don't know if many kids are chomping at the bit to acquire their own Demo Man. This is very much for us old school fans. And right out of the gate, he's super cool. The green is such a fun color. Very fitting with Masters, right? Just that kind of demonic skull there. I don't know if these are bone protrusions. They certainly look like it, in the style of maybe Superman's Doomsday, but they would predate him too. So he's got a crown on. That implies some royalty. I don't know anything about this guy's story. So I hope the mini comic answers those questions. Let me see what weapons he has here. If it's per the illustrations, it looks like maybe a sword or a sickle and a mace or something like that. Let's see what's going on here. And again, kind of a bear to open. If only these weapons were as sharp as their real-life counterparts. Be able to get right in here. Gosh, is this necessary? The packaging is so extreme. I don't want to break anything. And in fact, somebody commented on one of my last videos, the Night Stalker figure that I bought had these blast accessories that I threw out with the packaging because I didn't see them. And I don't know if that's because I simply overlooked them in my zeal for opening that toy, or if they were kind of buried in this kind of wrapping that made them difficult to see because I didn't know they were there. If you're a more savvy collector, you knew to look for them. So, yeah, now the head of this mace is stuck in the plastic. And I'm sorry that this might not be great viewing, but I'm trying to be kind of genteel because I could feel the plastic bending as you hear that little pop there. That was one of the spikes of the mace kind of giving with the stretch of the plastic. This is absurd. There we go. Look at this. Look at all of this. For this. I mean, why weren't these just vacuum sealed into the packaging? I'll never know. More trash. But are pretty cool. I'm just noticing here he has a super spike on this gauntlet. So I'm not sure which direction that's supposed to go as far as his general design. But the ease in which I could put the weapons in his hands, awesome. I'm noticing that he's kind of loose. Yeah, look at that. Did you see that? The head of the mace is just his, well, there's that too. Just a second here as I put that in. I put that in his hand here, and well, the weight of that mace was, now it's not doing it. Oh, kind of, there's a little give. Considering these figures will be displayed, this guy's going to be prominently just displayed on a shelf. I hope that that doesn't eventually, the wrist is just way loose as far as I'm concerned. The whole figure seems to suffer from that. The plastic feels a little softer too than Origins in the past, and that might be because of the Arizona heat. To be fair, the head feels super loose, but it's also replaceable. And I honestly don't see the appeal of these alternate heads, especially the Skeletor head. As much as I love that Alcata style, the purple hood kind of clashes with the bright green body. It doesn't really go. So I know there's some lore surrounding Skeletor's spirit maybe inhabiting this body or something for a while. So if that's the case and that's the way you're playing, there when again you see that how the hand just kind of goes like that. Let me switch the weapons and see if that helps at all. But yeah, if you're kind of playing or displaying with that mythology in mind, then yeah, maybe you would swap the heads. But I'm going to keep this figure as is, and the heads will just go in my accessories bin, which is basically becoming alternate body parts, quite frankly, because I try to incorporate as many of the accessories as I can in the display. So then I pretty much just have all these extra heads and hands in a bin. But yeah, you could see that how the mace is just kind of taking the weight there. If I just go like that even a little bit. So standing this guy up is going to be a bit of a trick, but I will do it. That's marker, by the way, not blood on my hand. And there it goes again. So, some interesting challenges posed by this figure. But the sculpting, the detail, the color is all still pretty cool. And everything I expect from Masters of the Universe Origins. Just a great figure that pays homage to the original Masters of the Universe line. And in this case, expands it just a little bit. So I'll figure out the weapons thing. It's a very minor criticism in the context of how cool this figure feels and looks. So that is my opening and very brief, succinct review of Demo Man. Here are those heads. Like I said, I'm not going to go nuts trying to get these heads on the figure because I just frankly don't see the point. I'm not quite a fan of the way these look, other than in and of themselves. I'm not a fan of how they look on the figure, is how I should specify. Especially this one. This one looks tiny, almost disproportionate to the body. This looks like something more like a character would hold in battle. So I am going to maybe just display it in that way. Maybe have somebody holding it up, which would be like a true barbarian kind of a vibe with this. So that's Demo Man in a nutshell. If he is still available at the Mattel Creations website and you're a fan of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, I'd recommend him. You know, this is the kind of figure that you could buy even if you haven't been buying all of the other Origins figures, because it pays respects to the original character sheets and Mark Taylor and Roger Sweet's kind of development of the He-Man line. If you kind of just wanted a cool, quirky figure to set up next to your computer or something like that, because you dig medieval stuff, you dig this kind of sword and sorcery fantasy stuff, this would be a pretty cool figure to have in that regard. And there's a cool story behind him too, as far as the Skeletor that could have been, perhaps. So again, thank you very much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Consider following me on Instagram as well at Amazing AZ Comics. I self-publish my own mini comic book series called Amazing Arizona Comics. Here is my latest issue, which is actually a 24-hour comic challenge issue. I made this comic in 24 consecutive hours. It's 24 pages, full color, and you can order it through my Instagram at AmazingAZ Comics. In my link tree, you'll see the link to my Etsy store there, and maybe I'll put it below in the description here as well. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, I'd really appreciate your support. It's the best way to support this channel right now, and probably the only way I'll insist that you do, because I so love making these comics, many of which are inspired by my childhood passion for He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Tune in next time when I grab another unopened toy from the stack here in my living room and I say, you know what? Just open it. I'll catch you next time.